What up, guys? It's Chris. Today I wanted to talk about 5 GrandMA2 features that I've been using a lot this summer. Been very busy this summer gigging between multiple different acts, multiple different show files, and these are just a few kind of tips and tricks that I've been using this summer that I kind of want to share with everybody. So this won't really count as one of the tips. This is just something really quick I wanted to show you guys. If I grab all of my fixtures here, that should be almost everything. We'll just grab them all. Everybody knows at will turn it at full, but I'm not sure if everybody knows that dot will turn everything off. Anyways, to start, I want to stay kind of within the at key and show you guys kind of how I've been using the at key when it comes to stuff like color. So if I just turn everything off really quick, I'm going to grab my LEDs and turn them on. And if I go to my layout view very quickly, you can see I have the pixels here. If I was to grab half of them like this, put it on red, align, go to special dialog, and we can just drag it right across. Cool. Let's say that I really like that and I want to apply it to the other half. What I would do is I would go back to my layout view. I'm going to make a selection. So real quick, everybody knows that MA is, do this here. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to just grab fixture, X, and we're going to put them, we're going to grab fixture Y, and we're going to put them at fixture X. So what we'll do is we will grab these. So we're going to go these fixtures that are not a color at, and then what we're going to do is we're going to select our pixels this way, and on GrandMA3D you should see that it grabs the kind of symmetrical input there. So that's just a quick way to do stuff. You can apply that to position or color. If you have kind of, half your rig pointed downstage center, you could grab the right half and point and say at, these fixtures, and maybe that would get you close. Some of the shows I've been doing this summer have given me great information, such as, patch, GrandMA3D files with the stage kind of all built out, layout views, groups, all that stuff. But some of the shows kind of leave me hanging to a degree, and I have to make my own layout views, which is fine. So you can see that I have kind of this one here. Just some fixtures are kind of spaced out. It's definitely not the greatest, whatever. It is what it is. So the first thing I wanted to do is, if we go back to our programmer here, I'm just going to grab, say, just my downstage spots for now. We're going to store them in this empty layout view here. And then really quick, what I like to do is I like to turn the grid off. I don't particularly care for that. And kind of just to get a general spacing, what I'll do is I'll go into Setup, and then in the Move X category, I'll do something like 0 through 15, please. And now that kind of just spaces them out a little more evenly, for me to either rotate them or whatever. Maybe they are in this orientation. Maybe they're, ass backwards and one starts at this side. You want to just rotate it. But this is just kind of a quick way to help me get things kind of going in layout views, as opposed to taking the time to kind of individually drag every fixture out. All right, so here we are in our effect window here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and again, I'm going to grab my LEDs, turn those on, and then I'm just going to make kind of a simple dimmer sign for our pixels. And you can see them kind of going through and doing its normal dimmer sign. So sometimes to create a random strobe, what I will do is change this to kind of a PWM there. And with my pixels selected, I'll just kind of double tap this macro a few times. And then I'll edit this dimmer chase again to take this selection. And now you can see that there's kind of like a randomized thing going on. And then, just to really kind of crank it up, maybe, you know, we'll do something like that. And that's kind of a good way to make some things twinkle, as opposed to trying to program, you know, some wild shit. One of the shows that I work on involves an intermission. Sometimes we do a show with an intermission, and sometimes we do a show without intermissions. Before, I used to just kind of delete cues or whatever, and, you know, it kind of, some stuff tracked through, some stuff didn't really track through, and it got a little weird at some point, until I learned about this column in our cue list here. This is a custom view that I've done. I've squeezed a bunch of stuff together that I don't really look at, and we're kind of focusing on this loop column here. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the cue right before. So we have our outro, and then we want it to go back to Martine's look, but we want it to jump to Martine's look here right before the blackout video. So what we're going to do is the cue right before Martine's look, so this would be cue 29 in this sense. We are going to right click here in the loop column, and we're going to scroll all the way down to Martine sets up Fluffy, which is where we want to be. And now when we step through our cue stack really quickly, we can see we're going to go through the first act. He's going to play his outro, and now the cue is pink, which means it's going to loop to cue 25, and we'll go right back to cue 25, and now we can just play our show as normal. All right, so the last trick I'm going to show you guys is how to PSR stuff into your show file that's more than the patch. So, for example, I just did a very large festival in Canada where there was multiple trusses, just tons and tons of fixture types. It was over 30 universes of stuff, but the information that I was sent was very helpful. There was a great GrandMA 3D file, there was layout views made, there was groups. The guy sent me the show file, and it was what it was. So we're going to take some of that information and merge it into this current show file, and I'm going to show you guys kind of how I did it, and kind of, I think, what the best practice is, and how to get kind of the most out of your PSR. So for anybody not familiar with PSR, it's partial show read. Basically, I have a touring file with source fixtures that have all the fixture information kind of programmed into the cues, and I need to clone that into the current stage that I'm going on, which would be my destination fixtures, we'll call them. So source at destination is what kind of the verbiage that I say when I'm cloning, and I'm reminding myself what to clone what at. So the first thing I will say is we are going to leave this session. So I'm just because you can access the patch from a PSR in session, but not the other stuff. So that's the first thing we'll do, is we'll just go ahead and leave the session there, and we will go to backup, and we can see that this is grayed out. We have to first initialize. We are going to partial show read initialize. We're going to scroll down to our festival patch. We'll load it up. We will only, let's see, we're only going to take, just for this example, we're only going to take the BMFLs and the mega pointies, because there's too much other crap to deal with. So we will use other, and we will use other stage. Prepare. And now we can see that this button is no longer grayed out. So we will click it, and now we can see all the different things that we can reference. So we'll go to groups, and we'll grab all the BMFLs, add selected item. You can see that I've already PSR'd some of these groups in here. So we'll do the mega points. We'll add them at group 44. You can add them kind of however you want. You can kind of move them to or from kind of, things and put them wherever. But where they came in for me is just fine. And the last thing that we're going to look at is the layouts. So if we kind of scroll back to the top, we can see that we've already done this one, BMFL, but we have not done the mega point. So we'll take this mega point one here and this mega point one here. So now you can see we've just added them into our show file. What we'll do is we'll get out of this and we will rejoin our session. We'll just make sure we're hooked up with MA3D here. All right, so now what I'll do is just off this. All right, so let's check our layout views. Let's go to screen 2. Oh, and yep, there's our first mega point one that we imported, and then there's our second one. So that worked. Go ahead and grab our mega points. We got a highlight on. Awesome, we can see that it took in all the information, including the 3D positions, which is great. This will help me in pre-programming. And now we can go ahead and grab our BMFLs, highlight, same thing. Oh, these look to be kind of hung 90 degrees. That's cool. And yeah, so that's it. That's hopefully kind of the best way to kind of do PSR without the session created. It'll just kind of load everything faster. And you can do awesome stuff like take other people's layout views, or maybe you have a really short position, a short changeover, and the LD is the house LD is kind of gracious enough to give you some of his positions, straight, audience, all this stuff. You can import that into your show file, and those are, in theory, if the house LD is good, then that should save you a bunch of time programming during your changeover with just a couple PSR things here and there and everywhere. So I hope this was helpful to some people. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too much or confuse anybody more than I helped anybody. But yeah, these are just kind of 5 little tips and stuff that I've been doing lately and figured I should share.